So what about, so say I missed the first round, what are the, I know they're having a second round now, so what are the qualifications?
Yeah, so
for
that's
that?
also huge news is they're opening up the PPP program again, not only for first-time borrowers, but also people who need to go back for a second round.
Hey guys, today we're going to give another PPP update. There's been some new legislation that has come out, but real quick, I did want to ask that you hit subscribe on this video if you like taxes and want to be aware of any updates that come up. We put these videos out every week, so it could be a really great resource for you.
I mean, who doesn't like taxes, right?
That's right. So with that, Ray, there's been some new PPP information come out. What can you tell us
So
about
we've had some big developments. You know, the PPP has been an ongoing battle for the past year. And we've got some really big developments that came out, some really exciting news for small business owners. One of them is the ability to deduct the expenses for which you use the PPP funds for. If you've been watching our videos over the past couple of months, one of the biggest fears that I had that we wouldn't be able to deduct those expenses, and it was going to create a large tax liability for small business owners. So with the new legislation, they've come in and said 100% you can deduct all those expenses. So yeah, really happy about that.
That's awesome. That's a really major change there. And is it the same for North Carolina, or are they going to follow suit?
No, North Carolina is not going to follow suit. In fact, the legislature purposely last year came out and said that we are not going to follow the Fed. Even if the Fed does allow you to deduct them, you're going to have to do the add back to North Carolina. So just remember that piece. You know, it depends on your loan amount, but you know, look at about 5% on that money.
Sure. Okay. And I know they've so there's there's two different forms to apply for forgiveness.
Right.
Are there some changes to those in this?
Yeah. So when it comes to forgiveness, you know, they had plans in place already. You know, different forms that you could fill out. And what they did was they simplified that whole process for everybody with loans of $150,000 and below. They're going to come up with a simplified, streamlined forgiveness for those folks. I don't think they have the forms yet, but they should be coming within the next couple weeks. So be on the lookout for that. You may want to if you have loans of 150, you probably just want to wait until that comes out. A lot simpler process.
Sure, and I think didn't they make some changes with the EIDL as
well?
Oh,
absolutely. So not only is the PPP, up for forgiveness, the EIDL advances are going to be up for forgiveness as well. If you remember those, it was right when the PPP came out, you could go to the EIDL and you could get $1,000 per employee up to $10,000. And the general rule back then was if you got the PPP and the EIDL, you would have to pay back the EIDL. Well, now they're coming out and saying you do not have to pay back the EIDL, and not to mention you also don't have to recognize it as income either.
Sure.
So
awesome.
Super
win-win.
Win-win for all small business owners. They got PPP and EIDL.
Sure. So what about, so say I missed the first round, what are I know they're having a second round now, so what are the qualifications?
Yeah, so that's also huge news is they're opening up the PPP program again, not only for first-time borrowers, but also people who need to go back for a second round. Some of the caveats on if you got the PPP once before and you're coming back for a second round, the two criteria to be able to do that, one is you have to have already spent the funds from the first round, which most people have because you had 24 weeks to do it, and most people already exhausted those funds. So that was one of the criteria. The next was your gross revenues had to have had a 25% or more decrease in one quarter in 2020 compared to the same quarter in 2019. So what you'd look at your first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter from 2020 and compare those to the 2019 quarter and see if one of those had a dip of 25% or more. If they did, then you're able to go back and get a second round of PPP funding. If you want to, you can also look at it on the entire year. And if your entire year is 25% or less, then you could do it there too. But it's probably going to be easier if you look at it on a quarter.
Gotcha.
At one quarter at a time.
Okay, so yeah, definitely sounds like they have, again, it's a win-win. They pretty much made this thing really beneficial for business owners like we were hoping. I know there's a lot of concerns.
Absolutely. So. Super happy with everything they've done here for all the small business owners.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you going through that with us again. And again, this is Andrew McMillan. I'm here with Ray Halstead. If you have PPP questions, feel free to give us a call.